Welcome to Pucked Up Hockey Moms, the landing space for moms of all ages, shapes, and sizes. And we won't hate it if the non-mom joins either. We just hope your ears are as unfiltered as our mouths, and you're as passionate about hockey as we are. It's time to get offside, ladies, and no whistles are being blown here. I'm your host, Amanda, and today we have Cody and Mark joining us after my peer pressure to talk about their memories of their hockey careers. Welcome, Cody and Mark.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining me. We'll start here with Cody. Now, I know I definitely peer pressured you to come on the show, but I like to think it wasn't that bad because you agreed pretty easily. How about you tell us a little bit about yourself, Cody? We'll start with you, and then we'll get into the good stuff.
Thank you, Amanda. Happy to talk about myself as always. Nothing I love more. Me, I am a pretty basic dude. 2 kids, live in Calgary, bounce around the West Coast for a bit, and I'm a completely average hockey player my whole life, so I'm happy to share my wisdom from a useless plug.
I love it. All right, Mark, your turn.
I am like a carbon copy. I'm 30-some-year-old guy, 2 kids, living in the burbs of Calgary, and if Cody was average, then I'm a slightly above average hockey player.
All right. I mean, he's slightly taller than you, so that's why you have to be above average then.
Unfortunately.
But you boys know how I like order at work only. My house is pure chaos. So we will start with Cody first on all these, but do feel free to jump over each other like a hockey fight. I'm not opposed to that in the slightest. But what do you boys remember about your first seasons in hockey?
I remember not really doing much, right? You start as a young kid, you flop around the ice a little bit. It's something you told you have to do, but you learn to like it over time. Yeah, to start, it was pretty nonsense. You just float around the ice when you're 4 years old, and probably when I started, it was just silly, stupid stuff to start.
Cody, did you start in Winnipeg? Because I started in Winnipeg.
No, I was in Calgary. I was
okay. So
it's called Timbits hockey.
I started in Winnipeg, and we had outdoor hockey rinks, and that was like where you would have practices and games and whatnot. So it was like minus 40 in Winnipeg. So I remember that, and I also remember completely hating it and like dreading going to the rink every single time my dad dragged me there until I was like 7. I was like, this isn't so bad. So yeah, I think I started skating when I was like, again, 3 or 4, whatever it was. But yeah, those are my early memories of hockey.
So you guys were always outside for practice at 4 years old?
We were the young kids, right? So that they didn't book us ice times. It was just, you would go to the outdoor arena, which was like a smaller arena than a normal one. We'd rip around as 4 or 5-year-olds and then go into the little hut that had a heater, and that was your break.
Yeah, me and Mark, like you said earlier, we're very much carbon copies. I was born in Winnipeg too, and that's like how you play minor hockey in Winnipeg. Until you're 10 years old, you play in outdoor rinks.
Yeah.
So the West Coasters might not understand it, but that's where organized hockey takes place, is in the Arctic tundra outside.
I have not been, so I know nothing of these things. And that's why I always joke about how I won't put my kids in soccer because it's cold and wet, and I prefer cold and dry. And there's washrooms inside an arena. So there's none of that for the first 5 years is what you're saying in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I mean, I was only there for a couple of years, but that's all of my team pictures I had and whatnot were all on outdoor rinks with the coaches. So that's all I remember is us playing outside until I got to Calgary, and I was like, this is nice. They have buildings for this activity.
And when did you guys meet? How old were you when you guys met?
I don't know. I moved to Calgary when I was 7 or 8, and I started playing hockey. So I'm going to say 9 or 10-ish, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Started playing
probably
hockey
just don't
together.
remember life without each other at this point then.
Well, that's 25 years, right? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
So it doesn't sound like you loved it right away. Did your parents choose to put you guys in hockey, or was it just assumed that you were going to play hockey then?
Just what you do, right? I mean, I don't even think they had a choice when we were kids. So that's just what everybody did, is they played hockey. But yeah, I got dragged out of bed. We grew up in Alberta. We weren't playing outside. We go to all the little small hick towns outside of Calgary, Blackie, by 5 in the morning. So yeah, it sucked. My parents hated it too, because they had to get up with us and drive us to ice cold fucking tin sheds in the middle of nowhere at 5 in the morning. Nobody was having fun. That's what you did. That's what you did. So we did it.
That's how you enjoyed hockey until you were 10 years old. And it was like, okay, now you're kind of relatively serious about this. We'll put you in heated arenas.
And you guys didn't have any other choice of any other sport before this then?
I played everything. Baseball until I cried in the outfield. then my mom let me get away from that one. Basketball, lacrosse, golf. Again, it's just what you did, right? You played hockey in the winters, other sports other times.
Does Winnipeg have other seasons than winter, though?
They do not. They have yet.
No, that's a lie. There's fucking mosquito bird season, right? Those mosquitoes that fly around and can eat your soul. They come. There's that in summer.
Yeah, that was fun to play baseball in.
Yeah.
Are you hitting the ball or are you hitting the mosquitoes?
You were just hitting the ball at the mosquitoes. They
Lots of
that's what
contact.
took you out.
Do you guys have siblings that play hockey as well, or no?
My brother's an uncoordinated giraffe, so he played hockey, but he sucked. So my parents are 6'5" and 6 feet. My brother's 6'9", so he wasn't a
Okay.
great hockey player. He excelled in basketball and volleyball, but he played. He sucked, just like I did, but he did try.
I hope he listens to this. Is he is he older or younger than you?
He's younger.
Okay. Because
He's
I mean, I always pictured you as an uncoordinated giraffe, similar to like myself when I do stuff. But I guess if he's much taller than you, that would be.
No, I can catch and throw. I have hand-eye coordination. I just have no strength. When
He has range.
he's chill now, but yeah, when I mean, one time he picked up a couch and threw it at me across the room. Like Rink, when he picks up the tree and chucks it across the room in the movie, he's like 8 years old. Yeah, he did that with a love seat at me once.
Like not one of those foam love seats with like
no, like legit
Lightning
lumber
McQueen
couch.
on it?
Yeah, no, he picked up a full couch and threw it at me. He was like 9 or 10 years old. Yeah.
What did you do to him?
I can't remember. There was another. Mark, were you there? Did you come to my front door when he was chasing me around the house with a knife? And he's banging on the door, and I'm screaming at him, do it, pussy, because he has a knife.
I briefly remember this.
Yeah.
I don't. This is like when I first started coming around and hanging out with you guys, and I was like, oh, these guys are different.
Different. That's a very polite word. That's awesome. Mark, how about you? Do you have siblings and did they play?
Yeah, I have a younger brother and a younger sister. My brother played hockey. He never liked it. And then, so he had an incident, actually, funny enough, with Cody's brother. It was whatever year he started hockey, then it was the year that hitting started. My dad had never told my brother that hitting had started. So Riley, Cody's brother, absolutely annihilated my brother in the corner. And he went limping back to the bench. And he was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And I legitimately think that may have been his last game he ever played.
Oh no.
Yeah, so he had a rough go, but he was a smaller kid too, so yeah, he didn't love it.
Well, they make kids take checking clinics now before they can even try out for.
That's a good idea.
For hitting, and if you're in house, there's no hitting, but so you have to be in like rep or competitive stream for there to be hitting over, like for the U15 and higher. Otherwise, in house, there's no hitting. So, and then, yeah, they have to take the checking clinic. At least in British Columbia. I don't know what it's like everywhere else. I keep saying like generalizations, but I really have no idea outside of my province. So,
well, it's also changed a lot. Like,
yeah,
I know that hitting starts a lot later than when we were young. Like, I think it started at like 12 or 13.
I think it was like U13 before, which was Pee-wee.
Pee-wee is when it started.
Pee-wee is when it started.
Yeah, whereas now it's Bantam, which is U15. Did you guys play house or competitive stream? Cody, you said you weren't good, so.
So in Calgary at least, how it worked was you played like house? No, not house, but it was competitive.
We played competitive.
Yeah, until you were like 15, and then it stepped up a level. So I was always on like the second team or maybe the first team if my dad was friends with the coach. And then eventually got more serious, and that's when all my buddies made the good team, and I stopped playing. So it was competitive, but I was never very good at it. And
I played on the high level Bantam team or whatever it was. We were 14, 15 years old, so I got the cool jacket, and nice. I was not even close to good enough. And when you're doing like dry land training and all that extra shit around those teams, and you're getting yelled at by coaches that you've never met before, I was like, okay, I'll go play lacrosse instead of this. This is a little too much for me.
You're like, no extra effort.
No, I was not nearly good enough to go anywhere with hockey, so that was a bit much for me.
And you guys both switched lacrosse, but how old were you then? 15?
Well, that was always a summer sport. So you played hockey in the winter, and then what would it be like? Yeah, April rolls around, and then lacrosse started.
I would say
so you always played both sports.
Is when I started. However old we are then, maybe a little bit younger than that.
I feel like lacrosse is still way more savage than hockey in a lot of ways.
No. Firm disagree. Lacrosse you get more bruises. Hockey is high speed with high impact, and lacrosse you don't have that unless you have like one of the street fights that's going on. But like you're an adult at that time.
I've seen like chops to the head.
Yeah, but you have padding on. Like
it doesn't hurt that bad.
No, it's not that bad. And like eventually your arms just stop bruising. Like when you get decked in hockey, like I got a couple of concussions in hockey. Very rarely do you ever see that in lacrosse because like the speed isn't there.
That's true. You have like
you just don't go that fast. I lost my front teeth like 6 times playing lacrosse.
Say
But that's
what?
just because I lost my front teeth like
No,
six
I heard you.
times.
I just was like, are they fakes right now?
Oh yeah, these are fake.
Do you pull them out? You have
No,
false
they're
teeth?
crowned in. But I was
Oh,
playing lacrosse once and I lost my teeth in the middle of the game. But I have
yeah.
root canals, so it doesn't hurt. But I
Okay.
have two little pegs right
Yeah.
where my fake teeth are. And I kept playing and I was yelling at people, chirping at people, whatever from the bench. And some guy looked at me, just turned to me, looked at me, he's like, "Nice teeth, man." And then I just had to shut the fuck up the rest of the game because I have two little mini teeth as my front teeth. And I was like lisping at this dude.
Oh,
And yeah, that was it. That was all I could say.
that's where my husband would have like encouraged our kids to spit out some blood and say, "Want to play?" Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
unfortunately, my career fight record is 0-7, so I didn't really
Yeah.
have much to back it up.
That's not bad.
You just
That's
got to
not
use
good.
intimidation. It doesn't mean you have to be like perfect fight record. You just have to use the intimidation. Make it
One
look.
W, one win would have been nice, but what can you do?
It doesn't help that you're 6'3", so you're fighting other guys that are 6'2".
Yeah, I was playing big fuckers. It always
Yeah,
sucked.
yeah. What was your favorite thing about hockey?
I don't really like playing hockey that much, quite honestly. So I like the team, right? And like I
Yeah,
stopped playing once all my friends were better than me. So I like just going to the rink and being around your friends. The sport, I mean, I wasn't very good at it. It was cold. I like being cold. So it wasn't my sport of choice. But when you're playing with your friends, it's still fun.
Yeah, no, like thinking about putting my girls in hockey, I would do it, but it's more for like the team building aspect, being part of a team, like
yeah,
overcoming all that stuff. The sport itself, it's fine. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do in like the winter when you go to the lake. And my parents lived like a 5-minute walk to one of the fake lakes out here that we have rinks on. So yeah, I would do that all winter and whatnot. I like that part of it, but like the games themselves, it's fine. It's fine. I liked other sports more, but yeah.
So you'd say like the friends and then maybe beer league hockey are your favorites.
I love beer league hockey. So I stopped playing whenever I was 15 years old, but I started playing a lot of beer league hockey when I moved from Calgary,
Yeah,
Vancouver, and Victoria. You just pick up a sport that a bunch of people are interested in, and it's easy to make friends, right? So I moved to
yeah.
Vancouver, didn't know too many people, picked up beer league again, and I played for another 10 years after when I turned 21. So that was great. I mean, hockey was more enjoyable when I was older than when I was younger.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
was warmer and indoors because BC is warmer and indoors.
Yeah. And most of the time, I didn't have anybody yelling at me, but there were some
Oh yeah.
seriously. So
We had those
which is
like
Everybody
fine.
ends up in beer league, guys.
Yeah, they're
Everybody ends up in beer
passionate,
league.
right? I just
Yeah,
wanted to get some exercise and have some beers, meet some
yeah.
friends.
Mark, are you a beer leaguer?
I was, but then it was like a full circle moment, right? Like you start off going at 6, 7 a.m. in Black Diamond, those are your practices, and then you end up in beer league going 11 p.m. in Chestermere, and it's like you don't get home until 12:31. You got to work the next day, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So that's when I fell out of it.
Yeah.
Plus, you'd go to the rink and just get yelled at by the one guy on the team that would always show up, and the 6 other guys that showed up. So you'd just be on the ice the whole time. So I don't know. I fell out of love with beer league pretty quickly.
That's fair. Do you guys still see a lot of your friends from hockey and lacrosse or both? I mean, technically, I know the answer because I make fun of Cody all the time because the first 2 years I knew him, he was always at a wedding or at a stag, and it was always from like sports friends. And I've told him he's no longer allowed to go to any more weddings.
Yeah, I mean, what do we have? Just like 8 friends.
Something like
So
that.
yeah, we see them all the time.
And that's
And they're
Most
all
of them are from hockey.
and they're
Most of
all
them from
married
hockey.
now.
I met everyone through hockey. That's how I met all of you
Yeah.
guys. You guys all went to school together. So if I hadn't have met you in hockey, like I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they're all hockey friends that you played with when we were like again 10 years old. I still have the same
Yeah.
8 friends since I was 10 years old. So yeah, it's all hockey friends. But then I played lacrosse and hockey with lots of guys. You still see them, say hi. You don't see them every day, but it's
No.
nice. You still have a connection with them.
Yeah, you're still in their life. And you guys learn so much from a team sport too. Like, not only do you have the friends, but clearly Mark's learned to stalk you through life, through different jobs and stuff.
I just do whatever
Smart
he
man.
does.
Smart man.
He's my hero. So I just follow my hero around, do whatever he does.
Yeah, you guys like planned your children around each other, I think, too.
That was a
Very
lucky.
close.
So, other than like your jobs, what role do you think team sports have played in your adult?
It humbled you as like a young kid, right? You don't always get many moments of being humbled. And like I said, I wasn't that good at hockey. The rest of the boys made better teams and I didn't. So
Yeah.
you take rejection at like 13, 14 years old, but you don't really have many other avenues to get like rejected from something you really want. So that was like a good lesson, right? It's like kind of a negative thing, but as life goes on, yeah, sometimes things suck, right? So to learn that from sports was pretty valuable.
You learn how to win, you learn how to lose, which is nice, and you go through that organically with like a safe area of doing it, and you do it with a bunch of guys that you're kind of close with, so you make some good friends along the way. And I mean, it helps in the workspace, right? Like, you on team sports, you don't always get along with everyone, which is apparently also the situation when you go into offices. So it all helps, and like dealing with refs and dealing with things that are BS. It's a valuable lesson that I want my girls to learn too.
Absolutely. I definitely think being on a team, you learn how to be there on time, show up for something. If you don't show up, your team can't win, right? You win and lose as a team, but if half the team's not there, you can't do your primary function,
Yeah.
right? So it correlates a lot. And I think people that have never played on a team, you can see it in their work life a lot.
It's also nice to give a shit about something when you're 10
Yeah.
to 16 years old.
Yeah, keeps them out of trouble.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of purpose.
It's cheaper than rehab. I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
what
Sports can go that way too, though.
I know, but that's what I keep telling myself right now as I spend $1 bajillion on my children in sports, is that this has to be cheaper than rehab. And in the long run, hopefully this will keep them out of it. Do you think, I mean, Mark, you said you want your daughters possibly to play hockey. Do you think you'll put your kids in that?
Yeah, I think I will, but like, I don't know if I just misremember things as I get older, but it seems very intense now from a very young age, right? Like sports, there were certain kids who went, very intense at a young age, but it was an anomaly, right? Like you could tell
Yeah.
they were a step above and they were, chasing dreams. But now
Yeah.
it's like, that's just par for the course for every kid, right? And I don't think it's necessarily just hockey. It's probably every sport out there. So
Yeah.
I don't think hockey's any different than basketball or soccer. It's just sports are intense now for kids. Yeah, I say it scares me, but I'm probably going to do it because, like my parents did, they're like, "Oh fuck, what else are you going to do?" But it's something.
True. And it also, you have to remember when you start off, you're starting off small and it's not as intense because you're doing little baby steps and they only have 1 or 2 practices and you're slowly adding more as they get into it. And it doesn't seem as intense off the bat. Whereas when you listen to my stories, it's super intense.
Yeah, your kids are older, right? So I have to kind of understand that you step into that, right? You just gradually get there.
I didn't start with that. It was a graduated process of insanity.
It's also what the parents can tolerate. Like my oldest daughter's in dance right now, and I just like I can't do the dance thing. Like it's not for me to watch it. But I would feel the same way about basketball. Like it's just not something I understand or grew up with. So I don't want to watch my daughter play basketball. But like volleyball is something I never really got into, and I would love if she played volleyball. But team sport, different team sport. But hockey's one that I have a lot of time for.
I played basketball. I loved playing basketball. I don't love watching basketball. Yeah. I don't think I could sit and watch my kids play. So, yeah, I get it. There's different sports. I can watch hockey all day. I'll go watch other people's kids play hockey. That's crazy I am. I'm like, I don't even have a game this weekend, and I'm randomly at a rink watching someone play hockey. I don't know why, but here I am.
Yeah, and I love that. I think when I lived in Vancouver, I used to go watch 18 to 21 years. I just love watching lacrosse. I love playing lacrosse. So you want to put the kids in all the sports so they find out what they love, right? I would go watch random kids play lacrosse. When I was 28 years old, I'd drag my wife and I'd go watch these kids play lacrosse. Like, all right, here we go. Drive out to West or Langley on the weekends.
You dragged me to a couple of those too.
Yeah, I did. I made just come to those with me. I will make you go again this summer because the junior A's will play this summer in Calgary. So
awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
That's awesome. What is your favorite hockey term or slang, and what does it mean?
I think I already used it, at least before we were talking or during this, but plug. I thought about this question. I was like, I don't know what exactly slang I use, but plug, right? Useless. Yeah. That's the kind of the one I keep using in my life, I would say. But I'm a bit out of the culture, right? So
yeah, I'm sure the
plug is still used. It's used all the time. And as you said it, I was like, oh, I really hope we get a chance to explain a plug. It's like that's just inserted is a plug in to the situation kind of thing.
It's a useless bottom feeder, right?
Okay, I played hockey a long time. I never liked the hockey lingo. I'm sure it's changed a lot now, but like the bar down top cheddar stuff drove me freaking nuts. But I really always liked bucket, having your helmet called a bucket. And I use that still for my kids. So even when they throw on a toque, put your bucket on.
Did you guys have to use like face masks on your bucket before?
Yeah.
Like the cages?
Yeah, for when we take them to the rinks and whatnot, yeah.
Like for yourselves? Did you have to wear cages?
For junior, or when we were kids, yeah. But what
Yeah.
you get to junior and you can wear this, right?
Yeah.
So I went and played junior C hockey once all the boys' dreams died, and they wanted to come back and just play some non-competitive, somewhat serious hockey. So you got to wear visors when you're playing junior C, and then
Yeah.
I always
Junior.
wore a cage because my dental coverage sucked.
Did you play junior C shifts?
Yeah, I played for a couple
Were you on
years.
that team?
Yeah,
That was
I played for a
goddamn
couple years.
chaos.
Yeah.
Just 20-year-old guys trying to kill each other all night long, every night, fights.
Gonna
That
be a
was the
hero.
jungle.
It was
Oh
dumb
my
as
god,
shit.
that was fucking insane.
So, Cody, fun fact that I learned the last time I saw the two of you together. You mentioned when we were talking about sports and saying pickleball was for old people, which I'm totally going to catch hell for. And then you mentioned badminton, which I thought was for old people. But tell me your story about badminton, because you made me pee a little bit.
Grade 7 mixed doubles champion for the city of Calgary. Not a big deal. And I don't think I ever gave you the full
Not
story.
a big deal.
The main reason we won that actually was because the girl on the team we were playing turned around to watch the shuttlecock from her partner, and she caught it right in the eyeball. So she got ambulanced out of the game, and they forfeited. So that was, I don't think that was the finals, but it was like quarterfinals or semifinals, and we took the win, and we moved on, and we won city championships. Yeah, that was my grade 7 girlfriend at the time too.
Congratulations.
Oh.
Yeah, we won it. It was a power couple.
Wow. I hope your wife is not jealous of this story.
They're best friends now, so I think they're okay. Yeah.
Small towns. Gotta love it. What is your funniest hockey or lacrosse story from growing up?
Actually, I thought about this one too.
I also did.
Yeah,
Good.
I wonder if we have the same one. So there was a guy we grew up playing with. His name was Alistair, and he had one leg. He was born with one leg. So if we were, when you're kids, your parents tie your skates in the locker room. So some other dad was tying skates, and Alistair said, "Hey, can you please tie my skates?" And the dad comes up to me. He's like, "Well, how tight do you like them?" And he knocked on his leg and said, "Doesn't matter." And the dad didn't know he had a fake leg. So I always remember the hollow wood cracking. He's like, tie him up as tight as you want, buddy. It does not matter.
Oh my god.
So that was it. It was a locker room story. We were 10 years old. It was the funniest thing I can think of.
So mine actually, it's but my earliest memory of hockey. It's actually with Cody, and I doubt Cody remembers this. So we were on the bench together. It was probably like my first or second year playing on a team with Cody. I knew him like relatively well. We were buds at the time. We're sitting on the bench. We're probably 10, 11 years old. And he's sitting beside me on the bench as the game is going on. Our dads are the coaches. They're barking at us nonstop. And he looks at me and he's like, "Jess, what?" He's like, "Look at that banner." And they had the word association on it. And he's like, "The first 3 letters spell ass." He just like couldn't stop laughing. And I was like, you know what? I like this guy. So from then on in, I decided to do whatever he did for the rest of my life.
Oh my god. I thought you were going to say it was spelt wrong because
No, it's just
Cody picks out like spelling mistakes now for a living. So
no, it was like probably a 4-4 game, and that's what Cody was focused on. No wonder he didn't make the good teams.
Oh my god. And that's such a kid thing too. It's like, that says ass.
That's an act. Yeah, that was hilarious.
I love it. That's classic Cody. If you guys could speak to any sports player in any sport, who would it be? Or would you prefer to speak to their, normally I'd say mom, but I'll say dad.
My kids aren't old enough yet that I care what the parents think, so I'd have to go with Yager. Why is that guy still playing hockey in the Czech Republic at 55 years old, going out, being a single guy? I just want to know. He seems like a character, right? I don't know. He was a great hockey player, and he's still kicking, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. Mark?
Mine would be like, I wanna talk to like a Ty Domi, somebody like that, like Darcy Tucker, someone that was like a complete like mess on the ice. It's like, what was your life actually like? What was your mandate in hockey? Because you weren't very good at it, so you just a little body that decided to whip around the ice and be thrown into the boards over and over again. So that on the hockey side, or I'm a huge golf fan. I would love to talk to Bryson DeChambeau. That would be my other one.
I know none of what you speak on golf, so I will take your word for it.
Well, I'm not inviting you to my PGA podcast then.
Okay, well, in fairness, I got a hole-in-one when I was 8.
Okay, that's one more than me.
So, I mean, it was a small golf course. It was at Henderson, which is in Victoria by UVic. I don't know. It was the last hole. It's off a cliff. My dad had LPGA tour dreams afterwards and was absolutely crushed that I never wanted to play golf again. I mean,
smart girl, leave on top, right?
Yeah. I got a hole in one and I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm 8. I've peaked. So
I've been chasing one for 34 years now and no luck. So
Well,
this is my year.
I got one like 34 years ago, so I'm done. Yeah. Is there anything that I missed on hockey and friendship that you wish you could add to this? I mean, I alluded to the fact that you guys have followed each other around, so maybe.
No, the only other important note is highly recommend anyone that brings Cody to the bar to wingman for him not do it. Because when I was looking for girls, I would bring Cody over with me, and then the pretty ones would just go to Cody because he's taller and a little more handsome than I am. And he'd chat with him for a little while, and then be like, "I have a girlfriend," and they'd be like, "Oh, okay," and then they'd peel off with the other girls. So,
Harsh.
yeah, don't recommend using Cody as a wingman.
A liar. He would pick the girl he was interested in. I'd go, "That's an odd choice." Okay, pick a friend.
No, you did not. You did not hear me correct in Ranch Twins that one night. That was a big misunderstanding.
Oh my goodness. I love that like hockey bros are good for being wingman. That's a good accomplishment. Good job. Or not in Cody's case.
No, not a good job.
Not a good job, man.
We're old now, right? We're 30s kids and we're still buddies, right? So like what's nice about playing sports, right? Not everybody gets to make money from it, but you get a lot of good from playing sports and making friends.
Do you guys relive your glory days together a lot now? Or do you just like have a beer and sit on the couch and stare at a television?
There weren't glory days to speak of, so I'll just watch the other guys play.
No, he made the good lacrosse team. I didn't make it because I had mono.
That's where there's more glory stories.
I had mono.
Amazing. Am I allowed to tell them the nickname I give to you, Cody?
You can share it.
I call you 10-ply, which means you're soft. But I mean it in the nicest way because you're very sweet, Cody. But
it's so sweet. It's such a sweet nickname.
It is such a sweet nickname. I mean, you are saved in my phone as Cody-10ply. And then when I upgraded my phone, it saved it twice. So it actually says Cody-10ply-10ply. So
you're getting softer.
It's like you're 20-ply now. I don't know.
Double soft.
It's double soft. I feel like that's one of my favorite Canadian/hockey terms is 10-ply.
I only heard it from you.
That'd be the first time I heard it before, but
okay, well, my husband's been saying it for like 15 years. And then we heard it on Letterkenny, I don't know, a bunch of seasons ago. And he was like, he stole my line. And then when he met them, I was hoping he'd bring up the 10-ply thing, but it didn't happen. So, what are you going to do? We'll never solve who came up with it first now.
Didn't come out to Henderson, see you celebrating your hole-in-one, chanting 10-ply, and take it from you?
I know. I mean, yeah. Well, thank you both very much. And until next week, hockey fan. Thanks for tuning in today, and we appreciate you listening. Catch us next week for another mix of hockey tales, tricks, and/or tips.